The Story of Pickle Rick, as read by Eric Brown. Morty. Even from the bathroom where he was getting ready, Morty could hear his grandpa Rick calling out for him. Following the voice through the garage to the workbench, Morty came upon a lone pickle. Come on, flip the pickle, Morty. You're not gonna regret it. The payoff is huge. I turned myself into a pickle, Morty. Boom. Big reveal. I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle. What are you staring at me, bro? I turned myself into a pickle, Morty. I'm Pickle Rick! Morty stared down, wondering why would Rick turn himself into a pickle. Affronted by this question, Rick informs Morty that the reason anyone would do this, if they could, which they can't, would be because they could, which they can't. Beth and Summer join the conversation to remind both Rick and Morty of their family therapy sessions. Exasperated that he does not recall the commitment, Beth reminds Rick of the weeks-old arrangement. Still, a word I cannot pronounce, memory, Rick explains that he is in no condition to attend a therapy session on account of him being a pickle. Seeing through the ruse, Marty accuses Rick of deliberately turning himself into a pickle to get out of their school-ordered family therapy session. Understanding of Morty's suspicion, Rick assured the family that if Beth needed him, he would attend. Nobody needs anything, Beth replies, as Morty notices the strange concoction above them. Hey, Rick, he said, why is there a syringe of mystery fluid hanging directly over you? Also, why is the string attached to it running through a pair of scissors attached to a timer? And why is that timer set for 10 minutes from now, exactly when we would have left for therapy? Caught, Rick explains that the syringe is completely unrelated to their discussion and warranted no further explanation. Irritated but satisfied, Beth snipped the syringe off of the string and placed it in her purse. Content on leaving, Beth, Summer, and Morty drove away, leaving Rick to his pickled devices. As Rick plotted his next move, a neighborhood cat, Izzy, found her way into the garage. Thinking the pickle was a snake, the angry cat bat Rick off the workbench, across the garage floor, and onto the driveway. Pickled and defenseless, Rick realized he is in no match for the elements as he began to dry out in the hot sun. Just as Rick began to lose hope of dying as a human, it began to rain. The watery salvation soon turned treacherous, however, as the storm washed him down a nearby drain. Rick fell down into the sewer, unsure of how to get out of this one. One second. Passing a nearby cockroach, he bit his lip hard enough for brine to flow out. The cockroach, attracted to the salty liquid, approached Rick, who bit the insect's head long and hard enough to not only kill it, but expose the roach's brain. Using his tongue, Rick poked and prodded the roach's brain, realizing he could manipulate its body to move himself along the sewer floor. This is a real episode. Using the roach body and garbage found in the sewer, Rick fashioned a lethal exoskeleton around himself just in time to take on a scavenging rat, which he quickly destroyed. Aware of Rick's skills, A wave of rats swarmed the sewers, throwing themselves at the grate in an attempt to consume the pickle. Wasting neither time nor resources, Rick managed to use the dead rat's body to build himself a more advanced exoskeleton with arms, legs, and the ability to kick ass. His wits and the rat's muscles, Rick's expertly terminates the entire rat horde. I love myself, Rick exclaims to himself, surrounded by the bloody remains of his rodent opponents. Strapped into a Ratcraft jetpack, Rick launched himself up into the pipes and out of an office toilet. Unfamiliar with his whereabouts, Rick roamed through the halls, soon finding himself before a set of elevator doors. After parkouring up to the buttons, Rick is surprised when the door opened and he was faced with 3 men in dark suits. Hey, it's cool. Just need to find the nearest exit. The men, startled by Rick's pickle form, drew their weapons and shot the unfamiliar foe. Escaping through the air ducts and a mail tube, Rick made his way throughout the building. Rick used air ducts and mail tubes to get around the building, collecting a lethal cache of office supplies along the way, stopping only once to shame the building's occupants by transferring a bottle from the trash to the recycling bin. Rick, annoyed at his nuances, called the director, demanding to be let out, only to be informed that his mere presence in the building violated international law. Fearful of the power the fighting pickle displayed, the men dubbed him Solenya, or the Pickle Man, the villain of an old wives' tale in which a scientist's pickle crawls from bowls of cold soup to steal the dreams of wasteful children. But this pickle, Rick explained, doesn't care about their children. He wasn't going to take their dreams. He was going to take their parents. Using his own pickle strength and battery-powered lasers, Rick charged through minion after minion. Having no choice, the director released his captive, Jaguar, to find and kill the Pickle Man. In an epic office-based battle, both Jaguar and Rick fought for their escape. Injuring another in the process, stopping only to cauterize their own wounds. Their fight continued until the surveillance cameras were destroyed, leaving the director without an eye on the combat. Thinking Rick had killed Jaguar, the director offered to unseal the building and let the Pickle Man go, but Rick wanted more. He was coming for the director. What? Offering $100 million in bonds in exchange for his life, Rick refused, telling him to give it to Jaguar's daughter. The Jaguar, shocked and disappointed, the director admitted that passing the bonds to his daughter wouldn't be possible, as she was dead. Running to the roof to escape by helicopter, the director was shocked when it started to take off without him. Feeling the impending doom upon seeing the Jaguar in the pilot's seat, Rick took a drag from a cigarette, igniting an explosion below, destroying the building and killing the director. As Jaguar himself to jump out of the helicopter, he suggested that though it was too late for him to tell his daughter, He loved her. It was not late for Rick. She knows, Pickle Rick said. We don't really buy into that kind of crap. To that extent, the love and expression of familiarity over time. My access to infinite timelines precludes the necessity of attachment. In fact, I even abandoned one of my infinite daughters in an alternate universe of Earth that was taken over by mutants. Okay, good luck with that, said Jaguar as he jumped. Rick walked into Dr. Wong's office, finally ready to participate in the family therapy. How bad could it be after what he just dealt with? After making himself comfortable, Rick admits that he never wanted to go to therapy, stating, I don't respect therapy because I'm a scientist, because I invented, transform, create, and destroy for a living, and when I don't like something about the world, I change it. And I don't think going to a rented office in a strip mall to listen to some agent of averageness explain which words mean which feelings has ever helped anyone do anything. I think it's helped a lot of people get comfortable and stop panicking, which is a state of mind we value in the animals we eat, but not something I want for myself. I'm not a cow. I'm a pickle when I feel like it. On the way home from therapy, Rick apologized to Beth for lying about the reason he turned himself into a pickle. She gave Rick the syringe, and he turned himself back into a human, just a little worse for wear. They agreed that they should drop the kids off and go tie one on at Smokey's Tavern or Shorty's. Marty and Summer listened in the back, wondering if they were ever going back to therapy. Some time and place later, Rick and Morty have fallen victim to the evil Concertos plot. Tied to the inside of a giant piano, Rick and Morty panic as they watch the nearby hammers that eventually aim to crush them. Rick attempts to comfort his grandson when suddenly Jaguar, evening his score with Rick, swoops in, kills Concerto, and saving Rick and Morty from certain death. Who was that, Rick? That, Morty, is why you don't go to therapy. Rick and Morty. Flip the pickle.